What's up, everybody? Figured I'd do another one of those videos investigating the effects of disabling turbo. So let's start with Red Dead Redemption 2. I feel like that's a pretty GPU-bound game. And then we'll also do Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Far Cry 5, the expansion. I can't remember. I think it's called New Dawn. Yeah, Far Cry 5 New Dawn. And we'll see how it does turbo on versus turbo off. And we'll see if we can get to the bottom of whether or not on this particular laptop it helps. And heck, even if it doesn't work great on this laptop, doesn't mean it won't help out on yours. As long as you have a Ryzen processor. Heck, sometimes even on Intel, undervolting and turning off turbo and all that stuff can help. Anyway, let's get on with the video, shall we? Okay, Red Dead Redemption 2 here. Where are we doing high first here with turbo on. So here's all the settings we're running. Just so you guys can see that everything's on high. No advanced, that would get too complicated. So let's get started with the benchmark result. Alright, with turbo on, we got a minimum of 72, a maximum of 141, and an average of 111. And again, this is high settings, turbo on. So now we can move on to turbo off. Okay, it just got done running, so we got 72 for minimum, 136 maximum, and an average of 107. And this is high settings with turbo mode off. So now let's move on to the ultra tests. Okay, just showing you guys that all the settings are on ultra and at 1080p and all that good stuff with no VSync or anything that'll interfere with limiting the FPS. See, everything's on ultra. And we're not doing any advanced settings, so let's get on to the benchmark. Okay, so in ultra we got a minimum of 52, a maximum of 99, and an average of 76. And this is with turbo on. So now let's go see what it gets with turbo off. Alright, now we got 54 for minimum, a maximum of 92, and an average of 76. And that's with turbo off. So pretty similar. Pretty similar indeed. Alright, we're going to be doing ultra first. 1080p and all that snaz. Just running through the settings so you guys can see what it's running at. And alright, let's see how she benchmarks. Okay, benchmark just got done running. We got an average of 80, minimum of 32, max of 218. And here over we got 52 for 1% and 40% for 0.1%. Alright, let's move on to turbo off. Alright, here's what it got with turbo off. 80 average, minimum of 30, max 132, 1%, low 51, 0.1%, 38 for ultra. Alright, let's move on to very high, shall we? Okay, we're also going to do very high as well. Just to see. Anything less than that, though, we're probably going to start taking too much load off the GPU. But see, everything's on very high. And then we'll just real quick do it turbo on and off. Okay, benchmark's all done. Here's what it did with turbo mode on. 87, min 38, max 167, 1% low, 57, and 0.1% low, 44%. 44 FPS, not percent. Anyway, on to the next thing. Alright, and last but not least, we got 86, 35, and 155 max with 52 FPS, and 41 for 0.1% lows, and that's for very high turbo off. Alrighty, moving on to Far Cry 5 New Dawn. I guess it's just Far Cry New Dawn, but anyway, we have it on the right GPU, 300 FPS, everything is on ultra, and this is going to be with turbo on for the first test. That's just the way we're going to do it. It's always going to be turbo on first, then turbo off. Alright, let's move on to the benchmark. Okay, benchmark's all done. We got a minimum of 52, an average of 90, and a maximum of 134. And this, again, is with turbo on. So let's move on to turbo off. Okay, this is with turbo off. We did gain a couple minimum, 56, but we lost a bunch of average. We got 77 and a bunch of maximum. We only got 115 this time versus 134 for maximum and 90 for average with turbo on. Anyway, let's move on to very high, or high. Okay, trying high this time instead of ultra. I figured those two settings will be the highest on the GPU. Alrighty, let's move on to the benchmark. Okay, so for high settings, we got a minimum of 73, an average of 94, and a maximum of 128, which is lower than we were at ultra. That's interesting. Anyway, let's see what we get with turbo off. Okay, here's what we got with turbo off. We got a minimum of 66, an average of 82, and a maximum of 114. So I'm pretty sure we did worse this time on everything. So let's move on to the next game, I guess. Alright, I decided to also add Watchdogs Legion, since the video was pretty short with only 3. So we're going to start on very high this time instead of ultra. We'll do ultra last. So that's the display. Go over to the quality. We're on DirectX 12. Very high graphics quality. Everything's on very high or high. So, alright. Let's get into the benchmark. Okay, so with turbo on, we got a max of 127, an average of 90, and a minimum of 39. With a 1% low of 66 and a 0.1% low of 58. So let's go see what we get with turbo off. Okay, with turbo off, we got a max of 122, an average of 85, and a minimum of 55, with a 1% low of 62 and a 0.1% low of 58. So let's move on to ultra settings. Okay, now we're going to do ultra. Just showing you guys that everything is turned to ultra. Alright, let's move on to the benchmark. Okay, here's what it got on ultra. We got a max of 97, average of 73, a min of 46, 1% low of 58, 0.1 of 52, and this is with turbo on. So let's see what it gets with turbo off. Alright, with turbo off, we got 97, 72, and 47, 57, and 50. Really, really close to turbo on this one. Alrighty, I think that about does it for this video. Kind of just doing an impromptu, no tripod or anything video here, so I apologize if it's a little shaky. But I'm just copying over the Red Dead Redemption benchmark files over to my thumb drive so I can get started on making a video. So I'm gonna let it get done with that and get working on the video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's gonna be probably pretty short, but anyway, till the next one, peace out, guys.